Well, what we do is we encourage our clients actually to have a participatory component into any story that they're telling. This doesn't mean that we're asking our clients to create choose your own adventures, because that's not what people want either. They just want to be able to sort of share their opinions and share the pieces of the content that they want with their friends. And part of that journey becomes part of the story that is being told by the content. And so what we wind up doing is anything from like really including participatory elements in the development of a concept to actually helping to distribute and encode around the videos to make sure that we're building an organic audience in any way that we can. And so I produced the #1 green series, Zap Root, and that was actually the birth of our business, was through producing this green show. And we'd intended on becoming a production company. And at some point, like what we realized, we started working with people like Fred Seibert and Jordan Levin and Michael Eisner, and we realized that content was selling at a rate that wouldn't pay my rent, let alone the mortgage that I was aspiring to. And so we realized at the same time that these companies, you know, the MSNs and Generates of the world, were hiring us to help them build communities for their content, instead of hiring us to make the content. And what I've sort of had to realize is that, like, you know, that's the kind of, what happens is building the communities is the work. And so for me, like, creating and writing Zap Root is actually really fun, and I really enjoy it. I recognize in the ideal world, if I lived 15 years ago, I would probably just be paid to write and produce that. At this point, the market has changed significantly enough that people aren't being paid to make the content, but they will certainly be paid to build the community. And for me, like, I actually think that the community and the distribution is becoming the story more than something that one person has written and shouted at me. It's early on in the sort of financial cycle for our business. On the plus side, like, the world is really flat and anybody can compete. At the same time, we haven't even figured out what we're measuring yet. And I'm not, you know, this isn't really, it's less about, you know, thinking that this is problematic and more recognizing that the world is shifting from a model that's about publication to participation. And so before, we measured things related to publication, and now we're not sure what the right things to measure are. We have a lot of numbers. It's a great thing about the internet is we actually can count. We just haven't figured out a way to translate that into a language that's 30 years old that everybody agrees doesn't work. I think the question of selling a better audience online versus TV is still yet to be decided. I think there's a lot of press about the numbers being better, but then you have like lots of things that are about autoplay at the bottom of the screen that nobody ever sees. Why would that count for advertising? And that's frankly what most of the big numbers of online video viewership are on places that do autoplay at the bottom of the screen where no one's actually watched the show. So like if most of what the success stories are totally, frankly, not actually being watched or participated with, how do you view that? And it's, I personally, I don't think the numbers are any better. I think that, like, straightforwardly, we've sold numbers that are better, but they aren't. The difference between saying that the TV's just on versus what's going on online is that I think with the TV being on, the person is paying for the electricity and has made a choice to actually turn the TV on. On the internet, when you click to a website and there's playing something at the bottom of the screen that you're totally unaware of and have made no choice about, I have a problem with saying that that's a video of you.